Okay, closing government.
Yes, we are incomplete. Sorry, tadi salah.
Yeah, nggak apa-apa. Nice. Lastly, closing opposition. Are you here and complete?
Yeah, we're here.
Yes, we're here.
Cool. Yeah, several housekeeping things. First of all, please do time keep yourself because I won't be able to help you time keeping the debate. And yeah, just be mindful with that. And second of all, POI just as usual from minute 1 to minute 6 with 15 minutes for every POIs. Please state your preference before starting your speech, be it by raising hand, opening camera, or anything that you're comfortable with. And if you also have any pronoun preference, also you can state that before starting your speech. All right, without further ado, to open the case from the government side of the House, we call upon the Prime Minister. You're here.
All right. Am I audible or clear?
Loud and clear.
Okay. POI, just unmute yourself because I might not see the chat box. Let me set my timer. Starting speech in 3, 2, 1. As a country who are impacted by by heavily climate change, that we are suffer under this, meaning that we cannot survive in the end of the day. In the end of the day, like people who are feel safe, or with people who are live in country without any problem, Because the idea of climate change is not when whenever you are going to get funding or even solving the problem that will solve anyway and will never become under the society itself. But the idea of climate change, they are came rapidly to the society the moment that you are solving the problem, but the others the problem is the other problems will happen since very beginning. So the moment that we are going to suffer under this contents is the moment that we cannot alive we cannot allow safety. So under this narrative that government should take a responsibility or should take action toward how that they are going to allocate a lot of significant amount to even to allocate amount to, say example, attention toward how the climate change is reaches and many other things. 3 reasons why allocating the budgets to environmental issues is going to be important. First, those kind of thing directly touches or even impacting directly touches or even crack the society, meaning that this kind of thing or this type of tragedy is directly impacting the society in terms of economical, in terms of mental, in terms of how they are live. This agenda or this tragedy directly impacting all of the habit or all of the life are happening in around the society. So the moment that you are going to allocating this budget is the moment you are save your society or from the problems that came. Second, if you are not rapidly taking actions, this will going to be even worse. Meaning that the moment that you are not going to quickly, example, or even like significant amount of budgets, this problem is going to be even worse. The moment that you are, for example, just limiting just giving the budgets without any significant or without any even check and balances toward how this amount of budgets is going to solve the problems since very beginning is the moment that you are arbitrary or even like you are not tending your society since very beginning. But just notes, meaning allocated significant budgets in around this to environmental issues, meaning that you are going to significant or even more attention to what how the environmental issues or how the problem is exists since very beginning. Meaning actually the budget is there since very beginning, but the budget that's going to be allocated since very beginning is cannot be solving under that budget that given by the government. Meaning that we as people who are alive or this country who are highly impacted by this climate change, we need significant budgets from the government to even like to solving this problem or even like giving us safe life since very beginning. But also not we're not still the moment that this much is talking about even even during the economic and social issues, meaning that we are not even like always living in during the e-commerce, but even if the social issues are social crisis happen, but we still allocated the budget since very beginning. But how do we get the budgets to allocate the dana or even solve the problem toward our society, toward the problem itself? First, we have first is we are then creating like international loans, example, international loan to having a budget to creating or even like giving the budget toward the society itself, meaning that there is nothing reason to the government or even like this country to not even allocate the budget, to not even allocate the dana, significant dana toward their society since very beginning. But how do we allocate the budgets? First, we are going to creating urban planning. Look in house example, we are going to save or even check and balance, like see on how this problem is touching the society. Meaning that we directly allocating this budget or toward creating this budget or do check and balances toward how this budget we're going to allocate it and even save the problem since very beginning. Second, like we are going to creating like the commentary from people who are stuck here or stuck or even had the climate change is that, meaning that we are going to give rapidly take an action toward how to solving this problem since very beginning on how we are going to solve their life solve their life change. First, we ask people as country who are heavily impacted affected by climate change itself is this is the biggest problem from our country. We're not even focused on another problem is not that impacted highly, meaning that another problem is being impacted, but it's not like how this climate change impacted us toward a lot of things. Meaning that this problem or this kind of tragedy is the biggest problem that in our country. Meaning that whenever we are going to not even attending this problem is the moment that we are not going to solving the problem. So by solving this problem, we as the government, mean that to example is giving significant budget to allocate it toward environmental issues, meaning that with the moment that you are not allocated this budget or significant budget is the moment the burden is going to be worse since very beginning, or the burden is going to be double since very beginning. Okay, the budget is there since very beginning, but you're not going to allocate it. So so the burden is even worse, or even like the burden is even worse. Answer that. Sorry, thank you.
Thank you so much for the fine speech. To open the case from the opposition side, the House, we call upon the leader for opposition. They're here.
Okay. I'm just going to start my personal timer. And I will, for POI preference, please just unmute yourself. If I don't answer to POI, it means that I am running out of time. And gender pronounced she, her. I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, what do we mean by social crisis, right? So social crisis, it's basically where separation happening. People are having conflicts with each other. They are not tolerating each other. Basically, like everything is a mess and they are attacking each other with violence and stuff, right? And economic issues is where people cannot buy basic necessities, where these underprivileged people cannot buy the basic necessities such as like food and electricity. And yeah, basically they cannot do anything and they cannot even eat, right? And developing countries, it's basically countries that are they're still developing, they're still unstable, and they're like economic things and they're social things, right? And let's now now OG kept talking about like they want to save life, right? However, like we question it because like basically what they're doing is like they're killing more people, because when these people cannot buy their basic necessities, how will they be able to like live properly, how can they be able to live healthily? Because the government will not be focusing on economic issues, right? These people will not be able to buy like basic foods and stuff, and they will be sick, and then they also cannot like pay the sickness, and they cannot get better. Like, so yeah, they're killing more people. So let's talk about the status quo, right? So what's happening in the status quo? So developed countries are basically doing research on how to like solve this climate change problems, right? That's what the developed countries are doing right now. They are doing this because they want to be seen as the best country as possible by like other countries. So they are like to make a sustainable energy that are actually cheap. So they have the incentive, right? Because they want to be seen as good, basically. And then developing countries, after we usually just follow what developed countries has done, right? And we can also do that in this climate change problem. When developed countries have like do something, when they have found the solution, we can just follow their solution and implement it in our country. And it has been like that anyway since the beginning. Like they make airplane, and we just copy them. We don't need to do the research for everything. Why? Because it's basically cheap, right? We don't need to do like heavy research. We don't need the technology, we don't need etc. We can just buy it from them, and then they will teach us how, and yeah, we can implement it in our country. So yeah, we can just wait for developed countries to find a solution and then implement it to our country. We don't need for us to do the research, right? And the developed countries, when they have when they have found the solution, they will actually they have the incentive to like give the technology to us or share the technology to us, right? Because they want to be seen as a saint by like the developing countries. They want to be seen as something, their savior, basically. They want to be seen as good in the media and stuff. Now, let's talk about why is it like not just justifiable to like allocate heavy funds to climate change solution and stuff as a developing countries, right? First of all, we don't even have the tech, so we actually need more funds to like make the tech in the first place, right? We're still developing. We don't have the crazy super tech to actually research this stuff. So like the money it's going to be needing a lot more, or it's going to be useless, basically. And okay, even if we do have the technology, like what if we like solve the climate change problem? What will happen to the poor people? Like basically nothing, right? They're still suffering because they're broke, because they cannot buy food, because they cannot afford basic healthcare, and because they cannot heal themselves, because they have to see their children dying because of being broke, because of what their countries have done, because their countries have never really focused on like economic issues or social issues. So the poor people, the underprivileged people are dying. Like OG is not saving anyone's life here, right? So moving on to my first argument, right? By not doing so, by not allocating these funds to climate research, it will be better for the underprivileged and the environment in the long term, in the long term, right? So basically, what OG proposed is also a long-term thing, right? Like the researching is a lot of time, and yeah, basically it's better on our side in the long term. So what do we mean by this? Is basically that people will eventually be able to buy renewable energy. So the reason why like developing countries are not implementing renewable energy is because it's like very expensive, right? Like even that's why we are still using conventional energy, because it's like very, very much cheap. I mean, just look at Indonesia when PLN raised their price by like 1K, and then people are like crazy. They are like protesting and stuff, right? And then also like if we like allocate these funds to like use for climate change instead of social issues, there will be like separation, right? The country will get destroyed. So how will like these people be able to buy renewable energy in the future? So when we allocate the funds to like social issues and economic issues, the economy of these underprivileged people will get better, right? They will, because we are like focusing on their economy. We want to make sure that the rakyat is sejahtera, right? And when their economy has like increased, they will like be able to afford renewable energy, and it will be like better for this for the environment, right? And then why is this like exclusive on our side? Because on their side, basically separation will happen. This country will be like broken. right? Because they are not focusing on solving social issues. And then there will also be violence towards the government, or like violence process, basically, that will not only attack the government, but also attack civil normal citizens, right? Because protest usually does that. Violence protest usually does that. So why there will be protests on their side of the house? Because yeah, the government is not focusing on economic and social issues. So of course the people are going to protest because they cannot even buy basic necessities, right? They're like protesting with violence because they want to be heard by the government, who is like destroying their life, basically. Yeah, because of these economic issues that are not being solved by the government. Like the government like doesn't care about that at all. The government only cares about the climate. This will create violence because people are not going to just accept this because it's making them die every day. And then the underprivileged will be unable to live at all on their side of the house because again, people are dying, and people and they cannot buy basic necessities. They cannot buy whatever they need, and they cannot even pay for their healthcare, right? And why is this important? Basically, it's important because developing countries usually consist mostly of underprivileged people. So of course, we don't want most of our citizens to die, right? And we, as a democratic country, we usually want to hear people that makes the majority, right? Which is like underprivileged people, basically. And yeah, so developing countries actually need more budget for economic issues and social issues, because that's exactly why they're still developing, right? That's exactly why they are not developed, because they're still very unstable, and they need to make sure that their economic and social is good first. And thank you.
Miss, thank you so much for the fine speech. To respond to the case of leader opposition, we'll call upon Deputy Prime Minister. Here.
Before that, can I request to stop the recording first? So, is that okay?
Yeah, Kaito. Oh, actually, we will cut you out. So
No, I didn't
is that
consent to be
fine?
recorded at all. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry. Kaito.